Welcome back to Eyes on Business channel, everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mitra, who is a brilliant software design engineer. We're going to dive deep into the world of software design and business requirements. Hi, Mitra. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Sahid. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
To kick things off, for those who might be new to this field, can you break it down for us? What exactly is software design?
That's a fantastic question. Think of software design as the architectural blueprint for a software program. Before you build a house, you need a detailed plan showing where the rooms go, where the plumbing is, and how it all connects. Software design is the same. It's the process of planning a software solution, defining its architecture, components, modules, interfaces, and data to satisfy specified requirements. It's about making smart decisions early on to ensure the final product is efficient, scalable, and easy to maintain. Without a good design, you might end up with a messy, unstable program that's a nightmare to update.
That makes perfect sense. So you mentioned it satisfies specified requirements. This brings me to my next question. What are business requirements, and how do they tie into this whole process?
Business requirements are the what of the project. They describe what the business needs to do or achieve. For example, a business might require a system that allows customers to purchase products online, track their orders, and receive email notifications. These are high-level goals from the business perspective. They don't specify how to build it, just what it needs to accomplish. The software design then becomes the how, the technical blueprint that brings those business requirements to life. The requirements are the problem, and the design is the plan for the solution.
It sounds like a real team effort. Could you tell us about the typical structure of a software design team? How many people are usually involved, and what are their specific roles?
The size of the team can vary a lot depending on the project's complexity, but a core team often includes several key roles. First, you have the product manager or business analyst. They are the bridge between the business stakeholders and the technical team. Their job is to understand the business needs and translate them into clear, actionable requirements. Then you have the software architect, who's responsible for making high-level design choices and dictating technical standards, like coding standards or tools. After that, you have the software engineers or developers, like myself, who write the actual code based on the design specifications. We also have UI/UX designers who focus on how the user will interact with the software, ensuring it's intuitive and visually appealing. And finally, you have quality assurance or QA engineers who test the software to find and fix bugs before it's released to the public. In smaller teams, one person might wear multiple hats, but these are the essential functions.
That's a comprehensive lineup. Now, for the question on everyone's mind, the cost. How much does it typically cost to do a software design for a set of business requirements? I know it's a how long is a piece of string question, but could you give us a ballpark idea?
You're right, it varies tremendously. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. The cost is influenced by several factors: the complexity and scope of the project, the size of the team required, the technology stack being used, and the expected timeline. A simple mobile app for a small business might cost in the tens of thousands of dollars, whereas a large-scale enterprise system for a multinational corporation could run into the millions. It also depends on the engagement model. Some clients prefer a fixed price contract, while others opt for a time and materials model where they pay an hourly or daily rate for the team members. The best way to get an accurate estimate is to have a detailed set of business requirements first. The clearer the requirements, the more precise the cost estimation will be.
And what about the timeline? Following up on the cost, how long does a project like this usually take from start to finish?
Similar to cost, the timeline is heavily dependent on the project scope. A simple project might take a few months, from initial requirements gathering to deployment. A more complex project, however, can easily take a year or even longer. We often break down large projects into smaller, manageable phases or sprints, which is part of the agile methodology. Each sprint might last 2 to 4 weeks and delivers a small, functional piece of the software. This approach allows us to get feedback early and often, and to adjust the plan as we go. So while the entire project might take a year, the client starts seeing tangible results and can provide input within weeks, which is incredibly valuable.
That agile approach sounds very practical. Can you walk us through the general process of software design itself? What are the key stages from an idea to a finalized design?
Absolutely. The process typically starts with the requirements analysis phase, which we've discussed. This is where we deeply understand what the software needs to do. Once we have clear requirements, we move into the high-level design, or architectural design. This is where the software architect makes major decisions about the overall structure, the database, the technologies, and how different parts of the system will communicate. After the high-level design is approved, we move to the low-level, or detailed design. This is where individual components and modules are designed in detail. We'll define the specific functions, the data structures they use, and the algorithms they will implement. Think of it as zooming in from the city map to the detailed floor plan of a single house. This detailed design then serves as the direct guide for the developers who will write the code. Throughout this process, there's constant review and iteration to ensure the design is solid.
You mentioned the importance of clear requirements. How do you actually go about collecting the data for these business requirements? What techniques do you use to make sure you've captured everything?
Collecting requirements is a critical and often challenging part of the process. It's a lot of communication and investigation. We use several techniques. One of the most common is holding workshops and interviews with stakeholders, the people who will be using the software or who have a vested interest in it. We ask a lot of questions to understand their pain points and what they hope to achieve. We also use observation, where we watch users perform their current tasks to understand their workflow. Document analysis is another one, where we review existing business documents, process flows, and old system specifications. Sometimes we create prototypes or mock-ups, simple visual representations of the software to get early feedback from users. This helps them visualize the final product and often uncovers requirements we might have missed otherwise.
It's clear that communication is key. Shifting gears to the more technical side, what are some of the current popular coding languages and technologies that are being used in software design today?
The tech landscape is always evolving, which makes it exciting. For web development, JavaScript is still king, with frameworks like React, Angular, and Vue.js dominating the front end. On the back end, you see a lot of Python with frameworks like Django and Flask, Node.js, which allows you to use JavaScript on the server, and of course, established languages like Java and C#. For mobile development, Kotlin is the preferred language for Android, and Swift is the standard for iOS. There are also cross-platform frameworks like React Native and Flutter that let you write code once and deploy it on both platforms. In the world of data science and AI, Python is the undisputed leader. The choice of language really depends on the specific needs of the project, scalability, performance, and the existing expertise of the development team.
Finally, looking at the big picture, who are all the parties involved in the entire project lifecycle, from conception to completion and beyond?
It's a whole ecosystem of people. You start with the project's sponsor or the business owner, the person with the vision and the budget. Then you have the stakeholders and end users whose needs drive the entire project. Internally, you have the project team we discussed earlier, the product manager, architect, designers, engineers, and QA specialists. But it doesn't stop there. You often have an IT or operations team that helps with deploying the software to servers and maintaining it once it's live. There might be a marketing team involved in launching the product, a legal team to ensure compliance, and a customer support team to help users after the release. A successful software project is truly a collaborative effort that involves many different departments and roles working together towards a common goal.
Mitra, this has been incredibly insightful. You've demystified so many aspects of software design and business requirements for us. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and time with us today.
My pleasure, Sahid. Thanks for having me.
And to everyone watching, I hope you found this as valuable as I did. If you have more questions for Mitra, drop them in the comments below, and maybe we can have her back for a part 2. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.